Are you ready to go on an adventure with the elves and the Goo-Maker? Once there was a little ladybird. She was a clever Goo-Maker who lived deep in the woodland. Every day she fluttered around her workshop, making snail goo to sell. Her super slippery goo was simply perfect. The snails gladly paid 5 golden coins for it. "Look at our fancy trails," they boasted as they glided around. The Goo-Maker's clever secret was to add plenty of jelly to her goo. This made it extra smooth. But the jelly was getting more and more expensive. "I'll have to use fewer tubes of jelly in my goo," she decided. But the snails noticed the difference. "Why is my slime all lumpy and sticky?" one snail asked crossly. "It's making my foot itchy and sore." "It's so thick and not slippery at all," moaned a second. "And it stinks," cried a third. Soon all the snails were fed up with the dreadful goo. "5 golden coins is far too much for this," they declared, and they went elsewhere for their goo. One evening the Goo-Maker looked at her empty tubes. "I can make one last batch tomorrow," she sighed. "Maybe some extra mixing will help." The Goo-Maker left her workbench set up ready for the morning. Then she crawled into bed. In the morning the Goo-Maker could not believe her eyes. A ready-made jar of goo was waiting for her. It was all the colors of the rainbow. "I think the snails will love this," she exclaimed. Moments later a graceful snail slid past the workshop. "I love those rainbow colors," he squealed. He bought the goo for 10 golden coins without even checking the price. The graceful snail glided off happily. The Goo-Maker used the extra golden coins to get a few more jelly tubes. "At least I can make tomorrow's goo a bit more slippery," she said. She left her workbench set up ready for the morning. Then she hopped into bed. In the morning the Goo-Maker could not believe her eyes. 2 ready-made jars of goo were waiting for her. This time the slime glittered like treasure. "Who could be doing this for me?" thought the Goo-Maker. Soon after, 2 shiny snails wearing sparkly hats slid by. "Glitter, our favorite!" they gasped. They bought both jars of goo for 20 golden coins without even checking the price. The shiny pair glided off happily. And so it went on. Every morning the Goo-Maker found more splendid goo waiting for her. In no time at all, the snails came flocking back. They all wanted some of the new amazing goo. The Goo-Maker had plenty of golden coins once more. "I need to thank whoever's helping me," the Goo-Maker decided. She soon came up with a plan. That evening, the Goo-Maker set up her workbench and waited behind the door. Before long, 3 little figures appeared. "Elves!" the Goo-Maker whispered as they quickly got to work. The Goo-Maker stared as the elves added shimmering dust to the goo. "Making goo is the best thing to do," they chanted merrily. The elves clambered onto each other as they tried to reach the highest shelf. "They could really do with some little wings," thought the Goo-Maker. The next day the Goo-Maker collected some red autumn leaves. She took her tiny scissors and cut the leaves into shape. She carefully painted on some little dots and stitched on cobwebs for straps. That evening the Goo-Maker left the gifts on the workbench and hid. This time it was the elves who could not believe their eyes. "Wings!" they cried, strapping them on. Then they fluttered away, leaving a shimmering trail behind them. The Goo-Maker was very grateful to those little elves. She continued to use their shimmering dust to make the best goo in the woodland, and she had plenty of happy customers. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story. I'll see you soon in another adventure. Always remember to be good and kind. Thanks for watching and listening. Enjoy more stories at Dixie's Storytime World on YouTube. We're also available on the Kids YouTube app.